Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are doing the load workup for the 35 Remington Rimmed in the Lee Enfield. If you guys didn't see the last video, I'm going to put a link in the description to that video. Make sure you check that out. That was how we formed brass and made ammunition for this sort of kind of wildcat. As I said, this is a rimmed version of a 35 Remington. I'm going to keep calling it 35 Craig for goofy reasons that I mentioned in the last video. But yeah, that's what this is. It's an SMLE Mark III that has been rebarreled for 35 Remington. Got a 20-inch barrel, a rail on top, and a BSA red dot. If you did see the last video, you will have seen that we shot one cartridge with 32 grains of accurate 25-20. Today, I want to continue that. So we're gonna start off with kind of a basic pressure test, just to make sure that everything's safe, and then we'll shoot just a couple of groups to see how it does. I'm not looking for stellar accuracy with this thing. This is probably a 100-yard deer rifle. That is pretty much gonna be its purpose. The red dot is actually kind of nice to look through. The dot is very crisp and round, and I don't really have any trouble seeing it with my astigmatism. However, it is big enough, I'm not exactly sure the size of the dot, but it is big enough that it completely covers up the center of the target down there at 50 yards. So accuracy is not what we're super excited about for today, but I am going to be shooting on the target just for the fun of it. As I said, the target's at 50 yards. I do not have a target camera down there. Right now, if the first two shots land on paper, then I'll go throw the target camera up, but I don't want to risk my tripod or camera when I don't know exactly where this zero was. It was good enough to hit a 12-inch round piece of steel at 30 yards the other day with the first shot, but that's not saying much. So a quick review of the components, and then we'll get into shooting. Again, we're shooting brass that we formed in the last video. This is 3040 Krag brass run through a 35 Remington die and then cut down, trimmed, and all that. Shooting a 200 grain Hornady interlock. These are factory seconds, but I really haven't seen anything wrong with them. CCI 200 primer and accurate 25-20 is the powder. We are starting with a charge of 33 grains and going up to 37.5 in half grain increments. Really, what I'm trying to do with this portion of the test is just to make sure we're safe all the way up to there. Hornady load data for 35 Remington stops at 38.8 grains, so our max charge right now is 1.3 grains under that. Not really concerned about velocity. If we're hitting around 1900 feet per second by the end of the day, I'm going to be happy with where we end up. With that out of the way, let's get to shooting. Our one velocity from the other day was 1809 feet per second with 32 grains. The Hornady data is with a 20-inch barrel. Yeah, we may get close. We may get close-ish to 2000 feet per second today, but we'll find out. I'm going to be single loading these. Actually, first, I kind of want to see how many will fit in this magazine. But then I'll take them right back out. We got 5 rounds in there, which I was not expecting. All right, I'm going to drop the floor plate on here. And we'll take these out. I do have the charge weight written on each cartridge, just so that I can keep everything straight. All right, magazine's back together, but as I said, I'm gonna single load these. 33 grains. This red dot has settings from 1 to 11, and I'm only using setting 2 for the lighting level I've got today. The cheek piece is actually at the perfect height for this. Just gonna make sure I'm not fixing to blow a hole in my chronograph. No, we should be shooting well over the top of it. Light little push there. Well, 1637 was that first velocity. That's a little strange. I'm gonna shoot, tell you what, I'm gonna check the target and see if we're on first before we go any further. As I suspected, we are not on paper. Brass looks perfect. What I'm gonna do for this next shot is I've got a box a little bit closer. We're gonna go 33.5 grains. I'm gonna try to get this over the chronograph and just kind of hold things offhand here. I wanna just get a general idea of where we're hitting. All right, I picked up a velocity 1698. Let me see where that is on the box. All right, at 25 yards, it's just about 4 inches low. I can absolutely deal with that. I do not have any markings on here to tell me what the adjustments are. I'm going to assume half MOA. I'm just gonna move it 10 clicks, take the next shot at the target and see where we're at. That is a stab in the dark, but again, I'm really not super concerned about accuracy. For this test, 34 grains. Making me wonder why we got such a high reading of 1800 the other day. 1720, climbing fairly linearly, which is nice. Brass is perfect. I will say that on the first 2 shots, the primer was backing out slightly. That can be a sign of low pressure. On this one, the primer is flat with the case. It's very rounded, but it is flush with the edge of the case, which is what I want to see. No other signs of anything wonky going on the brass. And as you can see now, we've got a hole on the target. So that's great. 34.5 grains. I can see marks on the brass that let me know it's grabbing the chamber walls now, where it was at first, but just not quite as much. Primer looks good, case head looks good. We'll continue. 35. Oh, that last shot was 1745 feet per second. 1773. 35.5 grains. 1787. 36 grains. Got a duplicate on the chronograph. Brass is still great. 36.5. 1859. Everything's still looking great. Recoil's still very manageable. This trigger is crazy heavy. 37 grains. I don't have no idea what the target looks like. I'm doing my best to center that red dot on the target, but again, the dot covers the entire center of the target plus a little bit. 1883. I don't see anything concerning on the brass, so I'm gonna fire this last shot at 37.5 grains. I may be loading up 1 or 2 more. That felt like a 308 recoil. And 1910. I don't see anything on the brass telling me I should quit. I'm gonna go load 2 more rounds. Let's go 38 and 38.5 grains. That is absolutely where we'll stop. Still not getting to a max load there. And we'll shoot those, see what happens. On the target, we are starting to get a significant point of impact shift. There was a nice tight little group starting there, and it's entirely possible that it's the load changing. It's also entirely possible that the mounts on this red dots are crap, and I would not be surprised to learn that either one was the case. I do have a different red dot we can throw on here if necessary when it comes to the group tests. We're gonna stick with this one for now. I have not made any adjustments because I do kind of want to see where these next couple go. So I've marked the shots that are already on there to be able to see easier. 38 grains of accurate 25-20. 1912 on that velocity. Brass is still great. 38.5. And with that shot, we were 2,017 feet per second. The brass still looks absolutely fine, but that's telling me we're probably in a range we don't need to be in. Glad I found that. Up to this point, we'd seen a pretty linear increase. I don't remember exactly, but something like 20, 30 feet per second per shot. That shot jumped over 100 feet per second, so we're not going there. 28.5 is out. 38.5 is out. 38 grains is going to be our max, and I'm going to be more comfortable down around 37.5. I'm going to see where those 2 shots landed, and then I will formulate a plan for group testing. All right, looks like we were there and there with those 2 shots. So I've shot 12 shots so far today. I should have 12 pieces of brass left. That works out really well to do 4 3-shot groups or 3 4-shot groups. What I think I'm going to do is 3 4-shot groups. That'll give us a little bit better data. Let's go 38, 37.5, and 37 grains. We'll shoot a 4-shot group with each one of those and see what they do. I am going to adjust back down. Let's start with 5 clicks back down, and then I'm going to go 5 clicks to the right. If the groups don't hold together, I'll just prep the brass all over again, switch the red dot, and we'll try the same test again with that. That's my plan for right now. I also have a plan to switch to a target with a larger black center. Maybe I can get a little bit better of a hold. Might not be as great on camera, but the only way to find out is to try it. Before I go load those up, I'm going to show you the brass real quick. So we're starting with the lowest charge down here. And as we go around, we're moving up. We did still have some primers sticking out just a tad bit, not much at all. And here is our highest charge, and I'm really not seeing anything on there. Still nice round primer edges, no cratering around the firing pin, no marks on the head of the brass, no split necks, nothing goofy like that at all. No bulges in this area here, nothing. I do apologize, but for the first couple of groups that I shot, my main camera died. So for a few minutes here, you're going to see the target camera as the main view. We are gonna speed through these groups just a little bit quicker until we get to the last group. Don't worry, you're not really missing anything. As I said, I thought I had 12 pieces of brass left. Turns out I only had 11. I forgot about that one neck that got damaged in brass forming. So we've got a 4-round group with 37 grains, a 4-round group with 37.5, and then a 3-round group with 38 even. And that'll be good enough for today. I did switch targets. I've got a black circle up there, as you can see. Hopefully that'll help me center up a little bit better. We'll find out. It seems like on some of the iron sight groups I was shooting that black circle helped a little bit. In this first group, there are 2 shots with brass. It's a little bit weird. Yeah, I think I might be able to center that a little bit better. 1877. It's in the black. I can live with that. 1918. 1910. And 1912. Not too shabby on the spread there. Lube dent ironed out nicely. The other neck problem looks to have ironed itself out. Everything fed well. The brass looks perfect. Good times. Let me check the target. Not terrible at all there. 2-inch group-ish at 50 yards with 3 of them in about 1 inch right on top of each other. I can live with that. 37.5. 1935. 1969. And that was the last shot. About the same on that one. As far as group size, that one might be just a tad bit bigger. But what I'm noticing, and I think that this will correlate when I go back and match the shots up to the velocities, that as the velocity gets higher, we creep further up and to the right. I did have the rifle sit in the shade. It's cooled down significantly. We're gonna shoot our last group. 3 shots with 38 grains of 25-20. I'm surprised how well these feed for how short they are for that magazine. You can see I can get a thumb in between the tip of the bullet and the front of the magazine, but they feed perfectly. You can see that the light has changed. I am in full sun right now, but thanks to the red dot having a cover over it, I can actually get a pretty good picture on the target down there. It is still not ideal shooting light, that is for sure. It might be about time to think about getting a portable pergola or something to put over this. I keep putting my thumb right here on the back of the tang where the safety is. At least I think that's the... No, not the safety. The cocking piece. And that's not a good spot for it because it rams back into the tip of my thumb every time. Velocity of 1996. .32. That's quite the spread. And 1972. Brass is all fine. Decent little 3-shot group. All right, got a nice little 3-shot group there, all going into an inch, or probably a little bit less than an inch. They're at 50 yards. With a red dot that's, I'm guessing, 6 minutes. Just guessing 6 MOA on this thing. That's about the best I can ask for. This is a test that, of course, like most tests, calls for more data. But here's the thing, with this particular load, I don't really care all that much about all of that. What I think I'm gonna do is go with the load of those 3 with the lowest extreme spread, and that was this first group that I shot with 37 grains of accurate 25-20. It had an extreme spread of 41 feet per second. It's really not that much different from the second group that had an extreme spread of like 58 feet per second, but it's a little bit better. This last group had an extreme spread of 64 feet per second over 3 shots. Is any of that statistically significant? No, it's not. Our groups were far too small. But guess what? I don't care. We really don't need anything super tight for this load. I liked how it felt shooting the 37 grain load. We were right down around 1900 feet per second. The shots looked like they were gonna keep a more consistent velocity just going off of the 4 shots in this string. And 3 of these shot into a really decent group with a very respectable overall size group for shooting with a red dot. So that's it. 37 grains of accurate 25-20 with the 200 grain interlock and the CCI 200 primer, I think is gonna do just fine for a load for this gun. I'm gonna take all 24 pieces of my brass, throw these in the tumbler, get them resized, and I'm gonna load them all up with that 37 grain charge. If I decide to hunt with it this season, I'll get it all zeroed and I'll have plenty of ammo to hunt for the rest of the season after zeroing. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it very much. If you are not yet, please subscribe to the channel. We just topped over 4,000 subscribers, and that's really great. I appreciate it. For those of you that put in suggestions for a channel name change, I have been thinking about those. I've got a channel name in mind. I just don't know the logistics quite yet of switching things. So you might be seeing a new channel name coming up soon, but if so, I will post a video and let you guys know about that before it happens. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Thanks so much for watching. This has been a really fun project working with this odd old Enfield. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and y'all have a good one.